Guys, I think Blade has some crazy potential, and I think he can help a lot of free-to-play players out beat Memory of Chaos by filling in that win DPS role that I don't think Danny really fills in that well. So let's talk about why you should be summoning for Blade by first talking about what he actually does. But first, I just want to make a quick little note. I do want to say the banner itself is really not that good, guys, so you might be a bit apprehensive of pulling on the banner, and I understand that. At the end of the day, it's your account, you do what you want to do, you summon if you want to summon, but I do think Blade is worth pulling for, guys. I think he fills in that win DPS role really well. So guys, with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about his abilities first. Then we'll talk about what gear he should be running, we'll talk about the teams he can be run on, and then his future potential as well, because I think he'll be a lot stronger in the future, even more so than he is now. Blade, like I said before, guys, is a wind type destruction character, and I think he is going to help a lot fill in that gap, which I think the wind DPS role really does have. We have two characters in the wind category that are really doing damage, I guess you could say. Sampo with his DOT, and also Danny with his kind of lackluster damage. I really don't think that Danny fills in that DPS role very well. I think it takes him way too long to build up attack, and I think he is just way too inconsistent to actually fill in a win DPS role. Like, he can hit like a truck sometimes, but other times he hits like a teddy bear. There are a couple categories where I do feel like DPS is missing out on, wind being one of them, ice, and also imaginary. So these are the three main types that I think players should be looking for as far as filling in DPS roles for. Like, for imaginary, we have no DPS characters. Luckily, we're getting one in 1.3. Also, ice, we only have one real DPS for ice, and that's going to be Yangcheng, which is another 5-star. And like I said, for wind, we have Sampo, and we also have Danny Donheng, which, I mean, they are decent DPS havers, but I don't think they're going to be anything spectacular that would really carry you through any type of stage that needs wind type damage. But let's go ahead and talk about why I think he is going to be so good for the wind category, talking about all of his skills and abilities now. Hopping into his skill first, guys, his skill is going to consume HP and immediately give him his turn back, and basically you do a basic attack with this. This basic attack is going to be enhanced, and this attack is going to actually attack all the enemies instead of just one enemy now, so you have an AoE DPS role now. Like, Danny can really only attack one enemy, Sampo can attack multiple enemies and stack DOT, but I do think the DOT right now is going to be kind of mid without Kafka playing a role into the team. And while I do believe Sampo is probably better than Danny in this aspect as far as doing some damage to multiple enemies, especially with his DOT, it's still not going to be on the level of what I think Blade's going to be doing to these enemies. And this kind of leads us into another reason why I think you should be pulling for Blade. He has self-sustain as well, guys. He can keep himself alive a lot more reliably, I guess you could say, than Danny or Sampo can, just because of the fact with his talent, guys, whenever he gets hit a certain amount of times, he'll be doing a follow-up attack, which means you do get follow-up attack damage there. Also, on top of this, it recovers some of your HP, and his ultimate as well, guys. His ultimate is going to be targeting one enemy and also dealing damage to adjacent enemies. It also is going to be setting his health at 50%. So technically, you could save his ult until you get like really low HP, then use his ult and set yourself back up to 50% HP, which is just really big. It provides him just a little bit more self-sustain than any of these other characters do. One major caveat though, guys, is I think it might be kind of hard to run him on teams, which we'll talk about in a little bit as far as like building him on teams. But guys, before we talk about the gear you want to run on Blade, Yukong asked that you maybe subscribe to the channel, because only like 2% of you guys are actually subscribed, and you know how much Yukong would be upset if you didn't subscribe. Let's be honest, she probably wouldn't. Anyways, guys, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and let's go ahead and talk about the gear you should be farming for him if you do plan on pulling for him, and the gear you'd probably just want to run on him in general. So guys, as far as his best in slot relic set you can run on him, it's probably going to be this Longevious, whatever the word is, Disciple set. It increases his max HP at a 2-piece set, and a 4-piece set is whenever he basically takes damage or has his HP reduced. It's going to be increasing his crit rate, guys. On top of this, I do think this is probably going to be the best spot to farm equipment in the game. I think that this set right here is probably going to be the best in slot for every single support character. The Hackerspace set, which increases your speed and also increases the speed for all allies whenever using an ultimate. I think this is just going to be really clutch for just about every single character in the game, or every single support character in the game. And then this as well can be used for your healers, mainly just the 2-piece set, guys, because it increases that max HP. Another set you could run on them, guys, would be the Eagle of the Twilight line set. This gives you a wind damage increase. It also advances forward your actions whenever you use your ultimate, so this could be a really good set to run, but I really wouldn't recommend farming this set unless you're also farming for Yangqing as well, because you don't want to be wasting your Trailblazer power just farming for one set. This is really only going to be good if you're farming for both of these sets right here, guys. And then finally, as a baseline set you could run, guys, would be a 4-piece Musketeer. Obviously, this is going to be increasing your attack speed and basic attack damage by a certain percentage. A lot of his damage is going to be coming from that enhanced basic attack, so you do take use of this 10% damage increase to the basic attack. I think this 4-piece set could be pretty decent on him, guys, but I don't think it's going to be as good as the other new set, in my opinion. Just if you have some of these lying around, I think this could help him out a lot. Talking about some of the planar ornaments you could run on him, guys, I think Fleet of the Ageless is probably going to be his best in slot. It might be his best in slot, especially because it increases your max HP, which that's his damage scales off of his max HP. So I think this set could be really good for him, and it also increases the whole team's attack by an extra 8% as well. So I think this could be a really strong set for him. Something also as a contender for like the best in slot would probably be Salsato as well, just because it increases the crit rate. It also increases the wearer's ultimate and follow-up damage by 15%, which he does both of those, so he will be taking use of this full set as well. I think we're just gonna have to wait until he actually comes out to really test this out to see how good this set actually is for him. But I do think that Fleet of the Ageless and Salsato are pretty good sets for him. As far as like a baseline set, or like the most, I guess, like the worst set for him that I would consider using would probably be Space Sealing Station, just because it only really increases your attack, which is nice and all, but I do think the Ageless and Salsato are better sets to run on them, especially because you'll be getting the Space Sealing Station set anyways whenever you're farming for Fleet of the Ageless, because I mean this is what's used on your healers anyways. But I do think Fleet of the Ageless and Salsato is probably going to be best in slot. Probably basic set you could run on them would probably be Space Sealing Station. Alright guys, talking about some of the stats you'd probably want to be running for them. For the boots, you'd probably want to just run a speed stat there just to make them as fast as possible. This is pretty standard across just about every character in the game. You really just want speed for everyone, or for the most part you want speed on everyone. On the body, guys, I would probably run crit rate or crit damage here, just to make sure you're getting a little bit of extra damage out. Make sure your crit ratios are in check so you can do massive damage. As far as the chain goes, guys, I would probably run the HP percentage up here, because his damage does scale off of his max HP. So I think this is going to be the best in slot for the chain, just HP percentage, to increase the amount of damage he's doing. As far as his fear goes, just a win damage boost. And talking about some of the subsets now that you want to be running on him, guys, you obviously want to be running crit rate, crit damage, some attack, some speed, and also some HP percentage as well. If you can fit in any HP percentage in these substats, I think that will help him out a lot as well. Just quickly going over some of the light cones he can use. First of all, a Secret Vow I think would be pretty nice on him, even at an S1, guys. And not even facing bosses or anything, you do get a 20% damage increase off of RIP. There's no stipulation behind. Of course, if you are facing bosses, then it would be a lot easier to reach that extra 20% damage threshold, so that's an extra 40% damage if you reach that. But bare minimum, you do get a 20% damage increase just from having the light cone on in general. This isn't the current light cone banner. I think it's a pretty good light cone. Honestly, I think the light cone banner is really good. At S5, guys, you do get that up to 40%, which is absolutely huge. Nowhere to Run is another light cone you could use on him. This is a battle pass light cone though, so you do have to have the battle pass to actually get this light cone. It's alright, it increases your attack by 24%. It's also going to be restoring HP whenever you defeat an enemy, so I think this will just help him out as far as survivability goes. I don't think it's the best in slot for him. I don't even think it's second best in slot for him, but this could be used on him if you have it. Something irreplaceable could also be used. This is going to be Clara's signature light cone, but he can also take use of it as well. It's going to be increasing his attack, restoring his HP, and on top of that, increasing the damage he's going to be doing whenever he takes a hit. So this really does help as far as damage output, because you want him to be attacked, and this also gives you HP back for it as well, and like I said, increases his damage. Now let's talk a little bit about his signature light cone, guys. The Unreachable Side. This light cone is going to be increasing the wearer's crit rate and max HP by 18% after the wearer is attacked or consumes their own HP. Increases the wearer's damage by 24%. This effect is dispelled after the user uses an attack. So guys, this light cone is really good for Blade, obviously. It increases his crit rate and max HP, which increases his damage and increases his own damage whenever he uses an attack, because he consumes his own HP or is attacked, which is another stipulation to increase his damage. So all around, this will help him out do more damage. This light cone also can be used on Clara and Arlon as well, because you want Clara to be attacked. If you're using Clara on the team, you want Clara to be attacked most of the time. So if you have good energy recharge, getting your ult up a lot, and she is getting attacked a lot, you are going to be taking use of this 24% damage increase a lot. On top of that, guys, is going to be increasing her crit rate and max HP, which gives her a little bit extra survivability with that extra max HP increase there. So yeah, guys, I mean, this right here is just really good for, like I said, most of the destruction characters. Not really Hook, but other than that, I think this is a really good light cone to use. And also, like I said, guys, the secret vow is on the light cone banner as well. The light cone banner is just cracked. It has sword play, which is probably one of the best light hunt cones. Light hunt cones? I mean, it's hunt light cones. And then also shared feelings, which I feel is one of the best abundance light cones, guys. It increases outgoing healing and also restores energy for all allies. I mean, I think this light cone banner is just really, really cracked, guys. I think the light cone banner might be a summon on. If you guys want to see a full video on the light cone banner, then let me know in the comments below. But yeah. Alright, guys, hopping into some of the teams you could potentially run him on, or teams he might be good on, guys. I think Locha is going to be his best friend, guys. If you have Locha, I think Locha will be his best friend, guys. Also, Ting Yun, Yukong, Branya, you know, really any of those support characters, I also think they can help him out a lot as far as just doing extra damage. I think it is going to be kind of hard to run him, though, right now in the game, just because of the fact we really only have Locha as his best friend to really heal him up consistently whenever he's doing attacks and stuff like that. Of course, I mean, you could use Natasha or Baidu on the team. You are going to need some type of healing on the team, because I don't think his self-sustain will be able to keep him alive forever. So I do think you are going to have to run a healer on the team, and I don't think running a tank on the team is really going to be an option, because you do want him taking damage to increase his own damage. The more damage he takes, the more damage he makes. Look at that, I made a little pun there, you see. But yeah, that's my basic little breakdown of what team you'd be wanting to run him on, or how to run him on a team. And now let's go ahead and talk about his future potential, because like I brought up in the team building guide, I don't think there's a lot of teams that could run him right now. I do think he'll still do a lot of damage for you, but I do think some future characters coming to the game could really help him out, and I think it'll future-proof your account if you actually pull for him. I think we can just use 1.3 characters for an example. We have Lynx coming to the game, guys, which is a Quantum 4-star healer. This adds another healing option that you could potentially use with Blade. A lot of free-to-play players can use this, especially if you don't have Luocha. We're also getting a new tank coming to the game, so that's another chance for you guys to pull a tank. We're not going to talk about leaks, but I think that she'll be really useful to him. That's all I'm going to say with that. So yeah, guys, that's why I think Blade will probably future-proof your account. I think in the future he'll become a lot better, just because of all the new characters coming to the game to support him better. Because as of right now, you really can't run any tanks with him, because you need him to take damage to actually deal damage, and there's not very many good healing options in the game for him right now that will really just keep him alive consistently, other than Luocha, of course. Those are my reasons, though, on why you should be pulling for Blade. You know what, at the end of the day, like I said, it's your account. You do what you want to do. If you want to pull, you pull. If you don't want to pull, don't pull. If you want to see more reasons on why not to pull for Luocha, guys, make sure you check out one of my past videos, the Do Not Summon for Luocha video, or you can check my video out on why to skip all the banners in 1.2 for 1.3. I think that video is pretty interesting, too. Also, I will have an Arlon build guide come out whenever the update's released, probably 2 days after the update's released. Currently working on getting his talents up some before I release it, but yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty fun build guide, so make sure you subscribe for that. And also the giveaway we're going to be doing on Kafka, guys. Like I said, I will have more information on that next week. Make sure you subscribe to this channel here, and also join the Discord as well. I'll be putting more information in the Discord and in video form next week, guys. So yeah, just be on the lookout for that. Anyways, that's going to do it for today's video. Hopefully everyone enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Later. Bye-bye.